Tito, the stage is yours. We're 1 minute away. This is a fresh recording for our Q&A for today. Wow, wow, wow. That's decent. Um, I got like 25 minutes of absolutely mute recording. That's funny.
What's interesting is it was actually I heard it for a little while and then it kind of just cut out. So I don't know what happened there.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, it's not on the record now, so I'm not even gonna post it. We're just what we got going on. But it's 11 o'clock. There's the call is yours, sir.
Roger that. Thank you very much.
No, can you let people in for me? I'm sorry.
Not a problem.
Got it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Q&A. Just getting our bearings here. Very, very interesting week, to say the least. How you been, Mr. Allen?
Oh, phenomenal. You know, actually, I don't take a day off from being amazing. I start off at amazing, and then I go up from there.
That's what I'm trying to get like that. You know what? And sometimes I find that it already is like that and we don't even realize it, right?
Right.
And we just got to get used to counting our blessings every single day, first and foremost. So
I'm going to tell you how I do it. Mm-hmm. So I'm from an urban area, right?
Yep.
And one of my elders, so where I come from, you only got to be about 4 years older than somebody to be an elder. So one of my elders got life in 1993. Matter of fact, actually, literally death row.
Wow.
So he's been doing 23 in the cell, 23 hours in the cell, 1 hour in rec to go back to that cell, waiting for the day they're going to execute him. Every day I wake up, I'm in a better set off than he is. Every day, as soon as I get up. As soon as I wake
100%.
up, he would rather switch spots with me.
Absolutely.
So after that, everything else is a choice, I believe. So I start off from there, grateful. And then from there, sir, I look for all of the amazing things that's happening in my day that contribute. So I think it's just a perspective of how you start your day and how you see where you are in relationship to whatever else.
100%. I think that's exactly on point. And, the day that I registered the thought process of it can always be worse. It can always be worse. And there's always going to be somebody out there that is in a worse position than you. That is a perfect place to start. You know what I mean? And, I wish more people could see it that way, but I think that we're on our way. And, as far as those of us on here, man, what a privilege to even have the opportunity to come on here and just do this and talk about ways where we can help each other improve our situations and get more familiar with the way that this world ticks, with the inner workings of it like that. So I feel good. It is a gorgeous day out here. I don't know how it is up there in Philly, but man, this is my favorite time of year right now. So I'm ready for anything at this point.
Awesome.
So what do we got? We got about 20 people on.
Yeah, I have a question that walked into our the beginning of our Q&A. Miss Cordelia asked me about the demo account and how to actually place a trade. And I didn't see what she heard, but I told her that at the beginning of this, I was going to answer that question for her specifically, and that it was going to be recorded. So I told her that when I'm answering questions especially like those, it's a higher value for one, my time, and two, for the whole community, that we get those answered in the public forum so we can all benefit. So
absolutely.
Let me have the screen first, actually, so I can honor that. And hold on one second. So yes. So Miss Cordelia, to honor our contract, first, this is Trading View, which is not where we place trades as a systematic way. Oh, I don't need this. I need this. So this is, it'll come up in a second for me. This is LQDFX, right? I got mine looking a little funny. So when you first get in here, this bar right here isn't there. And this is a live account. So hold on. Terminal trade. So this is a live account. It's not demo, but demo will look the exact same. When you set it up, you'll be able to pick kind of what your, this is called a margin balance. So you'll be able to pick your balance. I say start with 100,000. Why treat yourself, right? So just because you have $100,000 in your margin account doesn't mean you have to trade outside of how you're going to trade when you turn it live, right? So the only difference between this account being a live account and a demo account is that whatever wins or losses I take are real life, and the ones you're going to take is going to be training, right? So it's going to be virtual or unreal ones, but the process of how the chart moves is the same. Now, when you have, so that's the terminal. So these wouldn't only be here either. Let me try to find another line. There you know. Let me find it basically. Okay, so indicator list. Hold on one second. This thing here deleted. Okay. Okay, and this is called your market watch. This is up here. So let's take that off first too. All right, so this is the actual chart, right? Without anything else. Now the thing here is when I first get on, if you right click it and you can look, it says grid. So first,
oh, that's the right click.
Yeah, use a mouse. So a lot of people, we're so technologically set up that we mess ourselves up. A lot of people that I talk to, especially with Apple products, they want to do all the stuff with their hand because it's neat. Get a mouse, so you can have a right click, right? So I right click from the beginning and I go to grid and take that off because I hate it. Okay. Then this normally isn't here, which is called your one click trigger, right? So I'll right click again and I go to one click trading. Now you see how it's going? I'm gonna right click again, and now it's up there. This number in the middle is 1.00. This is my lot size. What a lot size means is how much are you wagering for the trade that's about to come up, right? So this 1.00 equals $10 per lot. $100,000 in the market, in your margin account, a standard lot isn't bad, but you're probably not going to trade with a standard lot from the very beginning. So I would take that down to how you feel like you're going to trade. So what I recommend people start doing is actually go to this part right here and go to 0.01. So this is actually 10 cents per pip. And most people, their natural progression is to go from demo to this smallest lot size, then start to increase it as their process is proven that demo and live accounts are producing the same level of pips, right? And then just start giving yourself a raise every time it makes sense. So now that you have your lot size picked, you have the pair you want to trade, and you actually switch up your pair back over here to the market watch. So I added this US 30 and this gold versus USD. So you can actually put more symbols on. These are called instruments. Actually, professionally, they're called instruments that you're trading, but they're symbols, right? They're whatever pairs is going to be. And if you need to learn how to do this, I will watch a YouTube on it, right? YouTube, how to add a pair to MT4, because that's what this whole process is called. Now, as I went to LQDFX, I went to MT4 at that broker. And if you're going to go to different brokers and still come up with an MT4, and it'll all look the same, right? So from that perspective, the broker is like the casino, okay? And this is the slot machine. So whether you go to the MGM Grand or the Grand, see, I don't go, or the Circus, or wherever you go up and down the strip in Vegas, they all have slot machines. You just pick which one you want to go to. So MT4 is the slot machine. The broker is the casino that has the slot machine. So then that's, so now that you have your lot size of 0.01, you had the pair you want to trade. So let's get this over. So I'm dragging the gold one over, and now I have gold, right? So that's how you change it. Now I want to get ready for the US 30. I grab it, drag it in. Now I got the US 30. So the last part of this, let's go back to gold, right? Is if I'm looking at a live trade session and they're looking at gold and they take a buy, and buy means you want the future movement of this chart to go up from wherever it is. When you get in, you press the actual buy button. The first time you press it from here is going to give you a message saying, are you sure you are grown up? Not being, are you over 18, but are you noted that if you press this button, it's going to enter the trade. So don't later on say, oops, I pressed the button by mistake, and complain to somebody because you're in a trade. So that's what one-click trading makes you kind of set a kind of a waiver, right? So when you click the box and hit OK, you're acknowledging that anytime one of these two buttons are pressed by whoever that can press your buttons. So if one of the kids come in the room and click the button, you're in the trade. You can't go crying to the broker. So they put that in place first. And if you didn't want to make a trade with one-click trader, which is how I trade, up here it says new order. Hold on, it went to another screen. And when I click new order, it came and asked me, what's my lot size? Do I want to buy or sell? Nothing is moving now because the market's closed. But if it was during the weekday, all this be moving around, and then you can set your stop loss and take profit here as well. So I don't do mine that way, but that's the other way to be able to easily put all your stuff in, all your parameters from your trade. So Miss Cordelia, if you watch this and have questions after that, send them to me how you did, and I'm gonna answer them again on this next forum, the same forum, the next time we have this, so that way the whole community gets a chance to learn together. So I love you, I honor you. Hopefully that added some value. Mr. Aliva, the call is back yours.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's good stuff there. I like that MT4 desktop. Haven't really used it much myself, but yeah, I'm about to set up a parallel computer, a separate one here on PC. I'm usually on Mac, and I'm looking forward to getting that on there as well and messing around with it. So that's good stuff.
Awesome.
So if you got questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute yourself, and we'll tackle them. Whatever you want to get into here. 20 pips and dip, pairs, anything like that. Let it fly.
Oh God. Damn, I just lost my question.
I'm gonna have to get one of those little soundboards.
Okay.
And I'm gonna set up on one of the buttons, probably the very first button, the Jeopardy theme. Okay? We're just gonna hit that. We're just gonna hit that.
What do you see though?
Let me see here. All right. Not everybody at once though. Yeah, we got 28 people in here. I know there's got to be some kind of lingering question in somebody's mind. Don't be shy. If you're in here, probably because you wanna use that sponge, soak something up. I want to learn too, so throw it at me.
Uh-huh. Somebody raised their hand.
There we go.
Go right ahead, Philly. Oh, he might have lost.
Good morning, Philly Williams. You got a question, sir?
Hey, what's going on? Great morning, gentlemen. Yeah, I was the 20 pips and dip strategy. Do you actually use that and implement that? And if you do, how often are you actually using that strategy that Coach Max has, which is that 20 pips and dip?
Are you asking us in general, or like me personally, or
you personally, and Big Dan, and anybody else out here on the platform as well?
Yeah. So I do use the indicator, and I find the strategy to be extremely valuable, especially for building a bridge for people that are coming into the market for the first time. For myself, as I was transitioning from the crypto world into the Forex world, or broker trading in general, it was extremely valuable for me. And it was the way I traded exclusively for, I would say, almost 3 months before I started to expand my own strategies and find what worked for my style. Right. So I still refer to it as a confluence, specifically this this indicator, because it's valuable no matter what strategy that I'm applying. I think that it does do a lot of the work for us in establishing like support resistance and stuff like that. So to answer your question, I do apply the principles pretty much all the time still. I don't know if Mr. Allen has some.
Yeah, so for me, I was trading before I got here, and let me make a qualifying first truth. There is a concept called FOMO, okay? Fear of missing out, FOMO. So I'm gonna bring that in later to what I'm about to answer. So when I came in trading, my average profit was 0.9 pips. So in the course of a trading day, if you looked at my trades and averaged them all out, I was averaging right under 1 pip. So when I got here and I was watching some people go getting excited for 100 pips, 15,000 pips, I'm a conservative investor, right? I come from a banking perspective, not a producer's perspective. And a producer's perspective is a producer, in my study, is a person that's looking for the upside, the maximum upside, and then they learn how to assess the risk. And when they can tolerate the risk, then they go for that upside, right? And that's where fear of missing out comes in, because a producer comes in and say, well, I could get 100 pips, and I don't want to only get 80. That's a fear of missing out of the other 20, right? And so the difference between a producer and a banker is a banker wants to mitigate all their losses primarily. And then whatever profits are left over after all or as much risk as you can mitigate is gone, the banker will take that little profit because it's a safer win. So the producer is always going to make more than a banker at first because they take those big swings, right? So I came into the market from a banking perspective, and I'm okay with small, little wins, right? So everything about the 20 pip and dip strategy, which starts off with the top-down analysis, has improved my trading 20,000%, right? Been able to see the market for structure, to be able to have the parameters, which are your daily support and resistance and your 4-hour daily support and resistance, the trend line you have to break to prove that price is going in that direction, and then the extra 50 EMA, which now becomes the confluence, which was not in my vocabulary before I got here, sir. Confluence means more than one confirmation, right? So the 20 pip and dip strategy, before you even add the indicator, gives you multiple confirmations, which is the definition of confluence, to feel comfortable in the bias that you're having and that the market is about to move in that direction. So I 1,000% use it. The only thing I may not do all the time is wait for 20 pips. You get me 5, I'm out of there. And so now the indicator, right? The indicator all by itself would take a novice or an experienced trader and make them feel more comfortable at home. So now you got the concept of the craftsman or craftswoman and their tool, right? So I used to do rehabs, and I've been on every size of it, of the process. I mean, I haven't done from the ground up. I haven't done that, and I haven't done a 100-unit building. But a single family home, I've been all through that, right? And so when I have a craftsman, and this is what I'm thinking about with the tool, I know I got to screw this screw into the wall so I can get my 2x4 or my framing done. Then I can use a screwdriver, I can use a electric screw, and sometimes I can even use an impact drill. So for the craftsman, the tool is everything, right? So that 20 pip and dip indicator that Tito showed you, it'll change your life if you take the time to get to know it. Now, Tito, do me one favor so I can bring this last point home. Right there where you at the bottom of that run, where you are, where the mouse is right now. Right there. So for me, now Tito, draw a line from the bottom to the top of that run. Now, for some people, sir, some people see that as just one run to the top, right? Take it all the way up, right? And that's decent. What I see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different profit opportunities for me. So I'm watching the price go up. The Elliott wave type, the Elliott wave 2. That I would have probably could have still, that's 1. Then you can get back in, run to that top, that's 2. Let it go back down, get back in, that's 3. Run it back down, get back in, that's 4. Run it back. So I'm going to take the same, I use my money and I give them names, right? So I'm going to take Peter, and I'm going to say Peter, which let's say is a standard lot. So it's $10 per pips. I'm putting $10 at risk. And instead of having Peter go up and down that whole roller coaster, for me,
got you.
I'm going to say, Peter, do me a favor. Go get that bread and come back with it. Then when Peter come back and the market go down, I'm not experiencing that loss. For me. So then I'm going to say, Peter, it looked like a good time. Go get him again. So now do me a favor, Tito. Measure the whole one run is one thing, right?
That was my next question.
Right. So somebody went up and down and they went and got 597 pips, and they either they have the fortitude to know how the run gonna go, or they're getting an ulcer because they are going high and low with their emotions every time the market move, right? And I'm not saying I have the best way to do it. I'm just telling you I take the safest route for me. So now, if you measure those, and you can do this on your own so that I don't clog up the time with the answer, but if you go to the, where we at, the daily chart on the pound dollar, you can do it yourself when you off this thing. But if you measure those runs separately, it's going to be somewhere near that money. Remember, I don't have a fear of missing out. Whatever I don't get, so what, right? And I'm using the same $10 to go get all 5 of those trades in my world. So the only thing that you'll find me not doing with the 20 pip and dip strategy is waiting for 20 pips in one single swing. So you'll see my matter of fact. Let me have the screen one more time, Tito, and then I'm gonna give it right back to you. So you'll watch screen here. 1 second. Mine look more like go here. Make it bigger if I know how to. No, I don't want to do it this way there. I want to double click it. So I can have this piece. There you go. Mine look more like 1.9 pips, 1.2, 2.2, 1.3. So I got Peter going in and out. Like we knew it. Now, I'm not saying it's the way you should do it, but I'm answering your question. So I'm using everything, the top-down analysis the same exact way, but I'm just coming in stealing. So I think my biggest trade, if I lay this whole thing out, is going to be that somewhere that 2.2 pips. And that's me getting 2.6. That's me getting better. 2.2. I'm looking forward to waiting for 20. But I don't see it go 20 straight enough as I'm in the market. Then I hear people tell me, well, you sit and watch the market. I just don't have time for that. And I humbly remember being in the Navy and having to stand a 4-hour watch, right? To stand at the walk-in for 4 hours. Then I've had to stand watch at my equipment because I was an electrician and I had to be somewhere 4 hours. Some people got jobs, they actually got to be at the job. I don't know if that still exists in the COVID world. So giving myself a work day is okay for me because I know how to go make it make sense. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
To Mr. Allen's point, once you learn this strategy, you're never gonna just let it go completely, because what's happening here, and props to Coach Max and David Lisiaga for both the strategy and the indicator. This is something that you're gonna find is the foundation of the vast majority of professionals as far as the top-down analysis and just market structure and all of the main aspects of what make the strategy work. So for me, this is an absolutely just crucial and phenomenal bridge into the market for people that have never done this type of trading. And it's if you take the time to learn it and you really do it the way that Coach Max has taught it, you will absolutely grow exponentially faster than you would without it. And my process is a testament to that. So I will say, use it. We're very privileged. We're very privileged to have access to this particular method. This is 101. 101. So I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, thanks for all you do.
Absolutely. All right.
Anybody else?
Hey, Mr. Allen, and I can't think of your last name, buddy. What is it?
Avila.
Mr. Avila.
Mr. Avila. Hey,
Sorry, you
this is
can call me
Dawn.
Tito.
Hey, Tito. Hey, it's Dawn Ward. How are you?
Wonderful.
So, quick question for you guys. It's a trading question. It may not be appropriate for this platform, but I am trying to learn to trade on my own without signals. Can you, because I used to be very heavily dependent upon the signals that we got from another company. So the other day I took a Bitcoin USD trade just to kind of see what was going on with it, and saw a signal that said it was up to like 19,000 pips. So can you I just did it just to do it. Can you kind of explain the correlation between Bitcoin USD, or is it the same as if I was using a UJ or, USD CAD? Is it the same type correlation if I'm using that BTC USD?
And when you say the same type of correlation, are you referring to like pips or
pips, whether to buy and sell?
Yeah.
I would take out correlation, and I know what you're saying, and I would use the word, does it function the same?
Yes, does it function the same?
Yeah, I mean, in essence, all instruments function the same when it comes to broker trading, in the sense that if you're trading you know, if you get a sell order for whether it's a stock or whether it's an index or whether it's a Forex pair, you know, you're going through the same motions and you're doing more or less the same technical analysis. So in that regard, they're going to be the same. Now, if you're talking about just buying Bitcoin in general because you got a signal that said go ahead and buy Bitcoin now or whatever, you know, that doesn't necessarily have to be through a broker, right? But as far as, you know, how they work, they're all going to be more or less the same. I don't know, Mr. Allen, you got some input on that?
Yeah, I do. I want to jump in here. So Bitcoin is a very interesting animal, right? Because when you say the word Bitcoin or buying Bitcoin, it all actually means different things, but it's kind of the same words, right? So let me have the screen for a second. I wanted to talk Bitcoin anyway, because Rambers and I, we had some fun with it this week. So some people, when they hear Bitcoin, see, Bitcoin is one, it's a asset, right? You can actually own Bitcoin. So some people, when they hear buy Bitcoin, they hear I'm going to buy. When I say asset, picture like a house or a gold coin, right? So some people are saying it's 1900, so now it's worth this. Like my house just went to a higher appraisal, right? And so that's the buying and selling of it from that perspective, which is owning Bitcoin, right? So from our perspective, how we integrated with, let me actually share the screen. So and Rambus would be one of the most confusing people in the world to follow in this logic, because all of his posts will make you want to buy it and hold it because now it's worth more, right? So I see all of them, right? The banks are bad. Buy Bitcoin, keep it. Fiat currency is terrible, right? It's the whole thing. But for us, it's an instrument, just like the S&P 500, just like US 30, just like the USD JPY, where if it's going up, we want to, whenever we're looking at it, right? If it's going to go up from this spot, we want to buy. But just as much, if we buy it from this spot, we want to sell. And when we get it in and out the trade, we get our profit off of the movement of Bitcoin during that timeline, right? So so from the trading side perspective, we don't care nothing about the actual coin. We're actually trading the movement of the exchange rate between the Bitcoin itself and the US dollar, which is why it's structured like this, right? So then this is what happened this week. Rambus and I, we have first, I'm so excited about talking to him almost every day now. Like I feel like my business is better because I get more of his time. So that's just a whole nother little you got to take the small wins when they come, Dawn, right? So now, so we're talking and he's talking from a trading perspective, but he keeps sliding that Bitcoin is decent ownership perspective in the same conversation, right? And he doesn't even know he does it. He just loves it so much that you'll end up trying to buy it and hold it. So when the stock go down, or when the pair goes down, you're devastated, right? But so this is what I did. We look back. He gave me a education on the beginning of Bitcoin because I don't know that side of it. I don't know the asset allocation side of it well enough to care, right? But I understand trading relatively well. So he gave me the asset allocation storyline, and I'm learning from there. I wanted to be the student. So if you look back, this is a weekly chart. This goes back to 2013, where I'm at right now. Can you see my chart?
I can.
Perfect. So as we're talking, and he's telling me that Bitcoin about the double, triple, quadruple, and I believe him because I know what he's talking about. I'm starting to point out, let's look at it as an instrument, right? The pair. And what we saw is it ran up all crazy, then it went down. So what I did was I put a Fibonacci on the rundown, just clear as day. It started in 2017. The bottom of it was in 2018. It took a year for it to do it, but this is what we started on. So what I do with my Fibonacci, right? I'm not special, fancy. I take the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick, and I put the chart there first, okay? Then the next thing I did was I put these orange lines at the top and bottom because I can't see straight for nothing. So I need the lines to help me. Then what I did was I highlighted the 38 to the 50, because one time Coach Max says that's a heavy activity zone in the Fibonacci. So we set it based off of this run. But now look at these blue, look at this blue zone, which is 38 to the 50. So now we're talking. Then I set the 61 and I set the 23, and that's these lighter lines. So you start looking. So the last time when it ran down, it ran up to the 61 and then went back down to just about the 0. This is over a year. Like this is 2017 December. This is November 2018. It hit the 61 in June 2019. It went back down to the bottom that it was in 18, back to 2020. Then you see how it kind of comes up, plays, come back down, get to right about to the 50 EMA, which is the same thing on the 20 pip and dip, and start going up. Now it's making that run up, right, Dawn?
Yes.
So what I did was I went back to this last high, and I didn't trade. I haven't made a Bitcoin trade. I'm just coming to understand it with my brother. So I started going back to the high, and I got the orange line to the top of the run, but then I put this little resistance where I saw the price go up and down. This is called a tweezer top, which is when it comes to one spot, it just turns. And so although these wicks mean something to me, the fact that it did this means something too, right? So I can't see 2020 right now. I'm just looking super close at what happened back in December 2017, right? So Rambus is telling me about his weeks. He's killing it. And I love him for it, because when we first started this project, he said, okay, you do the trading. I'm going to build the team. It's going to be what it's going to be. All I'm doing is taking these alerts. Leave me alone. Now when we talk, he started talking about he going in the market fishing. So I feel like I won. So, so now you see clearly that we didn't make up this spot. We just marked it where it currently is. So if you go now looking into the future, everybody hype about the run, look at where it is. It's exactly at that resistance. And just to make kind of super illustrate the point, it ran up to that spot, pushed a little past to trick whoever thought it was going to break through it, and then came back down. So he made the money because as I keep talking, get in, get out, get in, get out, I screamed to him, screamed to Phil, like, get your win and just get back in, right? No harm, no foul. That's my big, I screamed to Tito, let's just get in and take the profit and then get back in. Let's make the broker rich by making multiple trades, but we securing the win. That's my logic. So now it is exactly where it was at, and it ran back down. So I 1,000%, ma'am, would view this pair like you view the USD JPY. Now with that, there are some fundamental things that will affect any pair. That's why we look at the news on Forex Factory. There is no Forex Factory for Bitcoin. So now you got to then go and study Rambus's world so you can have a fundamental understanding of your instrument, because there isn't market tools like Forex that I have on my side that's like the investing.com or forexfactory.com that's going to help you along with the technical analysis that I just showed you. So when I'm looking at the dollar yen, if it's non-farm payroll, no matter what my chart telling me, I'm not in the market, because there's something fundamentally that's about to happen that's going to make your technicals irrelevant for at least a period of time. And that's enough to wipe you out no matter what your account size is. There's also the interest rate meetings that happens periodically on every single currency. So if you're trading the dollar yen, you need to always know when is the dollar interest report and when the yen's interest report is out, because you want to be very cognitive, because for that period of time, your technicals will mean absolutely nothing. So hopefully that helps. And I know I got a little
So,
long-winded, but I wanted to
so
show
I
the
have
parameters
two
too.
questions. I have two questions from that because
Yes.
I just want to say thank you guys for going last week and showing us how to use the DXY, those things, so that I actually went and used them this week to see what the actual currency was doing. So thank you for that. The second thing is I'm going to back you up to, you talked about trading, getting in and getting out.
Yes.
So I need you to explain to me, because in my mind, the point where you get in is very important. And I think I kind of got that from live trading sessions. So if I get into a trade and it's going up, 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 and I snatch my money, if I get out and get back in, will I have the same leverage that I had when I got in the first time? So that's the part that confused me when you talk about getting in and getting out.
Okay. So first, you might end up on a testimonial. So if Rambus call you and ask you for a testimonial on that DXY, just know that it might be coming.
Whoa, Jesus.
So,
a little knowledge is dangerous, Mr. Allen.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Dawn. The reason why I say it, because all of that anxiety inside of how you said that is where Tito and I, we're not at, right? So the people we're going to help are going to hear what you're saying and go, me too, right? So I don't want a me too opportunity. So right, I don't want to buy another McDonald's because that model's already been done. But when I'm talking to a potential client, I want them to have some me too experiences. So as I'm educating somebody, there's times people can go, well, you've been trading, and they discount that I was them one time, right? Or when Tito and I talk to somebody, we may be unconsciously competent and not sensitive that there's that part of it that needs to happen still for everybody. So when you share it, it's going to help more people say, wow, a principal that's learning how to trade part-time that already also is a realtor that's coming in and learning, first got comfortable with trading itself. Now, I'm not talking about network marketing. I'm talking about somebody coming in to be a student and model your path. I came in and I learned the signals, and I learned how to trust the signals and then not trust the signals, right? Depending on whatever happens, because you got to learn how to get a sniper's entry, which is what you're talking about. But this young lady, on top of everything else that she does, is taking command of a different skill set and not to quit her job. That's your story is one of the best that I could always reference, because you are not anti go in and then do what your passion is that happens to be attached to a place of employment, right? Most people are indentured servants that the minute they don't have to be there, they wouldn't be there. So their heart is not in their activity of majority of focus every day. So they married to something that they don't even love. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
So if you get a call about a testimony, or just understand where I'm coming from. So, but to answer your question, the market goes up and down, right? The market doesn't care about you or me on either side. We can go win a bunch. We can go have the break out 17 new accounts a year. Doesn't care. So all that stuff I showed you was on the weekly chart. I cannot make a buying decision on the weekly chart.
Okay.
I make some decisions on the weekly. And if you looked at all that talking I was doing, it wouldn't help you make $1, because I was back in 2017. All that did was give me that this line is very important. Don't mess with this line is what I got, right? So on the 5-minute chart, now we're at back to what Philly was talking about. Now we're talking about sniper entries and the top-down analysis. So that weekly, this line right here was part of my top-down analysis to know some of those out-of-balance lines. And so Coach Max said, never take a sell when you're above the 50. Never take a buy when you're below the 50. Gold. No. Then she say, period. Like she talking to, like, I don't know who you talking to, but she was talking to me, right? Because I need it. So now, on top of, first, this is out of balance. And if you watch what the chart did, just to be funny with it, on the 5-minute chart, that same thing we showed you, it ran up to that actual line, peekabooed and it came back down. So that's one. So we would have gotten our bias before we got down to the 5. So let's just say we're looking for a buy in this season right here. You add the 20 pip and dip indicator, and we're looking for the buy. And now another thing Coach Max says, and I know it because I study it. So if you don't know it, you haven't studied it yet. That's all. That's the only difference. I've known Coach Max since April, and we don't know each other at all. So I've known him maybe 5 months more than anybody else here. And it's because I go to the videos and don't, this is one, and I know you're going to be able to appreciate this. This information is not entertainment for me. So some people listen to it one time, which is what you do with a movie when you want to watch it and say, I saw it, right? But your favorite song, you've heard it over and over again. I'm about to tell myself. Girls in my neighborhood when I was growing up, I don't know where everybody else is from, or everybody's from, can tell mine. They would listen to the song and have a book next to the radio or the tape, and they would re-listen to the song and write the words. I don't know if you know, I didn't do it, but I used to just listen to it enough.
I mean, when I grew up, we liked the albums with the words in the album.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's how I'm taking this information. I need that. My mom used to tell me, because I used to listen to NWA, get in trouble all the time. They said if you knew your schoolwork like you knew them songs, you would get A's. That's all I hear when I study this. If you know this like you know them songs, you're going to win. So that's why I don't talk like it's just Dan saying it, because I could just try to sound smart. But on these settings here, I'm telling you where I got it from, what song I listened to, right? So she said when she's taking a buy, she takes it at a higher low. When she takes a sell, she takes a sell at a lower high. So that's one of her requirements for the entries, right? So this is what we call, let's do this. 1 second, though. I'm going to take this. I like this replay button. One of my best purchases of 2020 was the, hold on, replay. I want to be, it's not doing it for me. Let me do this first. I should get a red line. Let me do this. There we go. Okay. So what I want to do now, what I just did is I saw a higher low right here, and I want to see when does that higher low show up, okay? Because sometimes like this lower low, I don't know if it's transactionable. Is it coming too late or too early? So one of my best purchases of 2020 has been the premium to TradingView. I can't promote it a bunch for myself because they won't pay me nothing for it. So I'm just telling y'all because we all family. So now I'm going to play this trade, and what I'm looking at right now for myself too, because since we're here doing it, I'm looking for exactly when does the higher low signal show up, okay? Because I'm looking for a buy. So I'm looking to see when we're above the 50. And then it's some other stuff I would have done on the top-down analysis that I don't want to take a bunch of time to do. But let's watch and see what happens when that higher low, does it show up at that candle 10 minutes later? Each one of these candles, Dawn, are 5 minutes. There we go. So I just paused it. So it just showed me a higher low, and all this had already happened. Kind of sucky, right? And then these red dots mean that this was a soft resistance. So Dan, I'm going to look at these. So this is a resistance. This is a resistance. This is a resistance. So you can see that it's going, the price is pushing down. Now this is a resistance. So price just pushed back up. So that means a little bit to me. So now I'm going to actually measure how far this is. This is like 71 pips. I just told you that I'll take 1 pip. So you can imagine how I'm looking at it, right? So this is 71 pips, which is why Rambus loves this, because when he catches it heavy. So let me just let this finish playing out. So what you want to do is study that Coach Max stuff until you can train on it. Like it was course material for your class. So go back to your teacher days.
Yeah.
So, but if you would have took this doji right here. Now we're going to go candlestick Bible, right? This doji is called a dragonfly doji. So we had price come up, create a higher low, right? Then we saw it come down. This is a graveyard doji. I didn't have these defined before I got here. I actually read the Candlestick Bible. So that's just back to not entertainment for me. And so we got a dragonfly doji that comes down to the 50 and makes a this is a graveyard doji. Now you have a graveyard doji that comes down to the 50 and creates a dragonfly doji, and then it bursts up 71 pips. So this is also what she says. I'm gonna just tell her myself. She says the money's in the candlesticks. She said, y'all keep playing around. The money's in the candlesticks, period. Every time she says period, I say, okay. I pause. If she say period, Dawn, I pause, rewind, and it's time to start dissecting. You ain't gonna say period on me all crazy when you're supposed to be being nice because you care so much about people's results that you ain't trying to be like
period with the T.
Yeah. So go ahead and say it if you want to. Oh, okay, hold on, pause the tape. Go back. Why she say that? Why she get animated at this part? So that's how me and we don't know each other. I didn't know Ice Cube. I didn't know Tupac. But I could tell you. No, I ain't gonna start rapping now because it'll make the call long. So I wanted to make sure I broke down Bitcoin anyway because it was something that Rambus and I talked about. So Dawn, thank you for that part, which is why I went a little bit long with everything. And hopefully this helps. So what you want to do, Dawn, is get a sniper entry. And to answer your question, if I got in this trade right here, I'm looking at when did price last have pauses, which are these red lines for me. So my take profits are probably around these different spots. And I use the ray. I'll come back here and put a ray on it. And then I got another little pause spot. And I'll make price prove itself again. And if you watch, price came, ran, hit this. It did another consolidation. Then it pushed again when it broke through this one. So that's a little advanced. But I'm answering your question. And, we're recording it so people can get to this spot. What I call it is grow into your notes, right? So take the notes now, even if it don't apply. And then when you want to start trading without the signals or without the live trade sessions, archive that this is when we talked about it, come back and we got it all written out for you. So
awesome. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Tito, I went long, so I kind of cheated you a little bit. I apologize.
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
We're at 51. Let's get somebody else a chance to ask one question, then give it to Rambus to do his part, and then let's get out of here. Let me give you back the host. I mean, you got the host, but there you go. Okay. You're about to talk about another major advanced correlation.
Yeah. I was just looking at this while you were talking because it was something that had come to mind. But I tend to, when I'm looking at Bitcoin, I tend to also look at gold because these are both hedge instruments that people use against the dollar, let's say, or a general economic strength or weakness. You'll see these correlate to that, generally speaking. And there's just something pretty interesting happening. I mean, if you look at this, in general, they fluctuate more or less in sync. You can see up here, and we come up. Even this little peak right here, you can see that was a little bump here on Bitcoin, and something interesting happens to where we get a strong consolidation period here on gold, but Bitcoin is trending up pretty hard, and within that trend, they're still more or less dancing together, right, in sync. Like even this little jump right here, same right here. So this is just stuff that I tend to look at just to have let's say a visual sounding board to kind of bounce stuff off of and create additional confluences in making my personal decisions before jumping into trades or investments. Let's say in this case, for me, Bitcoin is more an investment than a trading instrument, right? So that's just something that I happen to be looking at that moment.
Awesome. So we don't have time for that last question. Rambus, first, that's phenomenal because I'm looking at while gold is consolidating through October to November and Bitcoin's running up. that feels like market manipulation to me on the Bitcoin side.
Or FOMO, hype.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. 10,000% from that market manipulation. Absolutely, that's what comes from it. But Mr. Rambis, we got 6 minutes till we got to be somewhere else. So can you jump in?
I'm gonna take 5 or 4 of my minutes to stay on that chart. And then I'm gonna first I want to say thank you guys. This is a phenomenal show. They're getting better every week. I think we're getting more value out of them every week, even from the newbie to people who are already starting to get in the market. It's just getting so much golden value here. So appreciate you both. On that chart, back to Ms. Ward's question and talking about the asset itself. Now, let me give you a quick course economic wise. The dollar generally was losing about 1 to 3% per year in buying power. They call that inflation. The more they print, the less it's worth, supply and demand, right? That's the basis of economics. The more you have of something, the less it's worth. The least amount you have of it, right? And there's a high demand for it, the higher the price goes. Well, the reason Bitcoin is so valuable because right now, because it's such a small asset class. When you talk about comparing it to gold, I'm so glad you pulled this chart up. Gold, globally valued wise, is about $10 trillion in that asset. 10 trillion. Bitcoin's asset class is right now is 300 billion. So it's about a third of 1 trillion, right? So we're nowhere near a big asset class. If you put real estate dollars, we're talking hundreds of trillions. If we bring in the stock market, right? So we're still talking, each one of these things are different asset classes. So Bitcoin has so much upside because a lot of that safe haven money that Tito talked about as a hedge, and that just gold itself, you look at the correlation because it's not going to grow in value. Gold won't, because it's at 10 trillion, right? Even if they put another 10 on top of that, right? And gold's been here a long time. That means the price doubles from 2,000 per ounce to 4,000 per ounce. But Bitcoin doubling in price is just 300 billion going to 600 billion. That's a lot smaller amount of money that has to come from real estate, from the stock market, from gold, from silver. All these old asset classes are going to come here because it's a safe haven and it hedges against inflation of the dollar. So if you know the dollar now is not 1 to 3%, it's losing 7% now. Okay, I'm giving y'all an education. It's now losing 7% a year on value of the dollar. So if that continues, all I'm doing is hedging. Now, what I've learned here, and guys, I'm gonna give you some gold. I've been taking my bad money, it's called Gresham's Law, my dollars that lose value every day, and converting them into Bitcoin that I can store it, right, myself, and it's increasing in value every day over time. So that Gresham's Law is all I'm doing is converting bad money into good money. That's been my philosophy. But what trading has done is, instead of taking that 1 or 2 or 5% even a year, I'd be happy with converting my bad money into good. As long as I'm winning, I don't care what the percentage is, right, over time. But if I can take small wins of 100% any day of the week, 200%, 1,000%, learning how to trade, and then dumping that still into the asset that's going to grow in value, is just an amazing strategy. So I'm so thankful. Hopefully you guys will see value in this, even as an education. And let's go ahead and promote. So at 12 o'clock, starting right now, Mr. Ethan Clemens is on our launch Zoom. He'll do the presentation at 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and again at 9 o'clock today. That's at meeting ID 777-434-6287. That's 777-434-6287. It's our normal Zoom every weekend, 12, 5, and 9 Eastern. Again, tomorrow, 12, 5, and 9. And of course, we have our corporate Zoom starting now at 1 o'clock p.m., on opportunity www.epictrading.com. So you can get the corporate training as well at 1 p.m. But make sure if you have guests, load up those opportunity Zooms at 12, 5, and 9. I appreciate you again, Mr. Allen, as always. Appreciate you, Tito, as well. Mr. Avila. And I will turn it back over to you to close us out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. Thank you very much, Mr. Rambis, and everybody for coming here today. If you have any additional questions, please drop them in the GEP chat. If you're not in the GEP group on Telegram, please get with your sponsor and they'll go ahead and help you get in there. Other than that, everybody have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you all next week. God bless.